No, a goldfish does not have a 3-second memory. No, the North Star is not the brightest star. No, coal doesn't turn into diamonds. Surprised? There are literally hundreds of more pieces of information where that came from in my book, Facts That Aren't True. Click the link in the description to learn more.
Yeah, I mean, this argument of being scared, and it doesn't work because, I mean, like I demonstrated
does.
before.
No.
Your motivations, I mean, so if hellfire does exist, is that something to be scared about, or is that something you're going to jump into or run away from?
We're not doing Pascal's wager again because we did it.
What?
There's an uncountable number of conceivable afterlives, and you're no more better off believing in the one you do than me believing in the one I do, or not believing in one.
Well, there's no infinite number of conceivable afterlives, because if I define hell to be the most extreme, painful place, and there's nothing more extreme than that, then you cannot have a second hell that's more extreme. 'Cause
I
that's
can
how
have a hell that's the exact same extreme. Nana nana boo boo.
Okay.
Plus, in your
Okay.
worldview, don't you believe in the devil and jinns, which can trick the minds of men?
Only devil can, not jinns.
Okay. Well, so your worldview completely demolishes even the possibility of having objective knowledge because you can't know if you're being deceived. In my worldview, there is no devil. So these magical things which deceive the minds of men, that is simply not a possibility. You can't know that you're not being deceived by the devil. In my worldview, there is no devil.
Right, in your worldview, there is no devil, so...
Yep. So how do you
are
know
we
that you're not being tricked by the
disregarding?
devil?
Because devil, the definition of devil, you can only use my definition of devil, right? Not because your worldview does
Yeah,
not
this
have
this is according to you. It's not according to me. How do you know you're not being tricked by the devil?
Because the devil does not have full control over the human mind. We have other prayers and other things we could do to stop the devil from deceiving us.
How do you know that the devil didn't write those prayers in order to mask the idea that you're combating against him?
Because it will be a self-contradictory thing for the devil to do, is give you a book with, like the Quran, which starts, every chapter starts with the idea or the statement, curse be on the devil, and I seek refuge from God from the accursed devil. Each chapter starts with that. So why would a devil...
How do you know that the devil didn't write that?
Because it's a self-contradictory claim to make. The idea of the devil is to misguide you. What is he misguiding you to? So you can be skeptical.
And
for
so
infinity.
him giving you the instructions that are intended for you to avoid the devil, but actually get you to go to his hell pit, that would be the ultimate deception. So how do you know that the devil didn't do that?
Well, like I said, you can get stuck in this infinite regress of skepticism. Then I can ask you, how is the devil not deceiving you about the deception that he has planted, right? How far do you want to go back? So, I mean, also you're forgetting the other side, where God
So
does
the question
exist.
is, how do you know that the devil didn't trick you and write those books?
Based on the evidence, based on the scripture.
How do you know that he didn't write the scripture?
Because
Or she.
no one would write it. Would entail a contradiction for the devil to curse himself in a scripture.
How do you know the nature of the devil like that? In that way, I should say.
The devil is someone who would want you to burn in hell along with him.
Yeah, so him writing the book in that way is what would get, ooh, I'm a pumpkin, is what would get you to burn in hell for eternity. So how do you know he didn't write those scriptures?
Yeah, I mean, I could say it's an unfalsifiable claim, but
There you go.
again,
You believe
many
it through
things are
faith.
falsifiable.
I'm just going to believe
Yeah.
different things by faith. There.
Okay. Yeah, it doesn't work. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work.
You know what? The
can-
funniest thing about that is my book said that you would say that.
Right, right.
I love this
So
Spanky
we,
Bible.
we can go back and give you all the arguments for why God exists. So you're
I believe that
defining.
God exists, and the God is
Yeah.
Spanky, and you better start believing in him, or else.
Why is he called Spanky? Why is that the term in English, the English language? What about the people
You
that
think?
lived
Okay,
that lived
first of all,
before
first
English
of
was
all,
invented?
first of all, to merely utter a single syllable of Spanky's true name in English, a trillion cosmos would flare out of existence by the time we got there. Okay? So Spanky is of incomprehensible magnitude and power. Okay? So he gave us a convenient way to understand him, and he revealed his name to be Spanky.
Okay, what about the people that lived before English was invented? What was the name of Spanky?
Again, if I were to utter even a single syllable of Spanky's actual name, a trillion cosmos would flare out of existence.
A trillion cosmos? How do you know
Yes,
this?
because Spanky revealed it. What color is God's beard? The God you believe in, what color is God's beard?
God is independent of any form.
Okay, so what is God's form?
God is independent of any form.
Okay,
He
then
does
tell me
not.
anything about your God.
He is one, independent,
Okay,
all
what
powerful, and
is
all
God's
knowing.
oneness? Describe it to me.
Oneness is his nature.
What
He's
is his
one.
nature?
He's unique, unlike any other thing in the creation.
Every turd that's ever come out of my ass is unlike anything else that's ever been created. So tell me anything about your God.
So God is independent. He is not dependent on anything else in the universe. He is all powerful and all knowing and all wise. This is the definition of God we are working with.
What does any of that mean?
In the English language, all powerful would mean something that is has the most amount of strength. You cannot overpower it. All knowledge would mean something that has the most amount of information.
These are just words. There's absolutely nothing here. So
You want sign language?
for me to say Spanky's name is like that is exactly
else?
like what you're doing.
I mean, I can only
His name
communicate to
his
you.
name is infinite in its scope, and like it couldn't be ever be pronounced. Just like your God could beat up my dad.
I mean, I can only communicate to you using words, right? I mean, unless
And
you
I
accept
can
sign
only
language.
communicate Spanky to you in words. It doesn't capture his actual perfect omni nature, but luckily Spanky revealed to me his truth. And if you open your heart and bosom, the same thing will happen for you.
What did Spanky have for people that lived 5 million years ago?
What does he have for them?
Yeah, what was the revelation? Since it revealed his revelation to you only so far.
I think
How
he's
did they get
revealed things
salvation?
to other people too.
Subjectively, like everyone has their own laws.
We've been over this. Spanky reveals,
Yeah, I'm
guides the
dismissing
moral
Spanky
nature
though.
of man by his divine presence.
Do you know the reasons I've dismissed Spanky
What?
as a rational thing to believe in? Because your God is revealing laws to every other human being, and every other human being is going to interpret those laws differently. So it's not a consistent way
The
of
ones
knowing
that
who
don't
God is.
actually have the truth revealed to them and don't act in accordance are the ones that are wrong. And I know this because it's been personally revealed to me.
Okay, so it's unfalsifiable.
Yeah, just like yours.
No, my definition of God, my religion might be falsifiable. Yeah, of course, my definition of God is not. So how do I know
Yeah,
about
so there we
God?
go. So
Through
there's
that
no
religion.
reason for me to believe in your specific God versus
But yeah,
mine.
there's nothing that your God has revealed that I ought to care about so far.
Seems, bestie.
What?
Ditto. What you just said about Spanky is exactly the case with your God.
What is that? What's the case?
You essentially said, nothing I've told you gives you any cause for believing in the God I believe in. And I said, yes, same's, bestie.
No, it's not the same.
It is.
It's not the same.
It is.
And you know this because I can't prove to you or to others that you're lying about Spanky because that's something you just created.
And you have
Right.
no idea if Muhammad lied about whatever.
So yeah, we could look into that evidence of whether he lied about it or whether he was deceived or whether he was there's only 3 or 4 options, right? Whether he lied, he was deceived, or he was speaking the truth.
Or
There's 3
other
options.
people made it up.
Okay, other people made it up. You can put that on the table too.
Yeah.
So
it's like, for example, if a story said that the moon split in half, but there are 0 accounts of that anywhere else in the world, then this is how we know that that claim was made up.
No, that's a historical evidence. So you have to. There's no logistically possible way of establishing that to be the case, because you have to go in the past and interview.
And there's no way for and there's no historical way to verify that your prophet, who's a historical figure, yada yada yada, exact same thing. There's no way to do it. Thank you for admitting it. I have no reason to believe what you believe in, according to you.
So the Quran is falsifiable.
Tell us how we would falsify it.
There's 2 falsifiability tests in the Quran. One of them is to provide or produce or establish a contradiction, or to produce something.
The moon didn't split in half. There we go. Sperm doesn't come from between your ribs and your back. There we go.
That's not what the Quran. That's a misreading of the text. Again, this.
So the text has been corrupted. Uh-oh.
No. It's been corrupted by people who interpret it wrongly.
Uh-oh. And we have no idea how many times that's happened. Now we can't trust a single word of your book. Whereas my book has and always will be true.
Okay. That doesn't really help. Things will happen.
Goodbye.